Hey everybody, it's Jedd Johnson again. Got another episode of Cooking with Napalm here, finishing up a stack of chicken that is just going to be amazing. And I figured I'd go over one more question for another episode of Cooking with Napalm. Elmo Has a Posse is the writer, and he says, "Hey Jedd, I've been a subscriber now for a little more than a year, and I've always wondered, how did you get into lifting? Is there anywhere online where you've talked about this before?" Yeah, I've actually been interviewed lots of times and covered that, but and maybe I can find some of those interviews and put the links here or in the description box so you can listen to those interviews. There's one in particular that I did recently on the Super Strength Show with Ray Tulani, and we covered a lot of that stuff. But really, I can tell you right now what got me into lifting. I got passionate about lifting because I was first a professional wrestling fan, and my absolute favorite of all time was The Undertaker. But before that, I really got pulled into wrestling by the feud between Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan leading up to WrestleMania 6. So I really started following both those guys, and of course Hogan talked about lifting all the time, and Ultimate Warrior was just an absolute physical specimen. So I really began following Ultimate Warrior quite heavily. Always marveled at his muscular development even as a young boy, and I wanted to be a pro wrestler, and I knew that all those guys lifted weights, so I would do things like push-ups and sit-ups and pull-ups and things like that, curls at my house as a kid, and try to put on muscle. You know, we're talking, 8 or 9, 10 years old, so I didn't put on a lot of muscle, but I really got interested in lifting. In fact, I used to try to make push-ups harder by having my sister put a laundry basket on my back and throwing books and toys and stuff in there, so it wasn't just my body weight, but other weight that I was working on. So that is how I got interested in training, was through wrestlers. I first started lifting weights when I was in high school in order to improve for baseball and basketball performance. A lot of that time I just kept on getting hurt because I had no idea what I was doing, and we basically had no guidance. I think it was 1996 when I first met Jim Smith, and he kind of took me under his wing and guided me a little bit along the lines of strength training for baseball. But it wasn't until 1998, I would say, after my first year of college, when I really started lifting consistently. He and I teamed up again, and we trained together full time till about 2005 or something like that. So you're looking at like 1998 to 2005. Over that time, I started out with an emphasis on muscle building, and then gradually we started adding new aspects of training in there. We started with powerlifting and Olympic lifting. Can't really remember which ones we started out with first, but we did things like adding band tension and chains to the barbell. We learned the Olympic lifts from Leo Totten at a clinic. We spent a lot of time working with bumper plates, doing the snatch and clean and jerk. We did, we mixed in powerlifting with it, always doing squats, bench, and deadlifts. And then eventually in 2002, we decided we were going, 2003, we decided we were going to do a strongman competition. So that's when we started training for strongman. I did that consistently all the way up until 2006. When I started strongman, I knew that grip was going to be important. I found out about a grip contest. That's when I started training for grip, and I've been doing that ever since. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell of how I got into lifting and why I'm doing what I do now. For the most part now, I guess I'm most well known as somebody that does grip, but I'm interested in full body strength. I still do strongman stuff from time to time. I do all the power lifts. I'll work in cleans and the breakdown lifts from Olympic lifting. I love it all. And I think one of the biggest things that I'm into right now is arm training, just getting as big of arms as possible. And I've got a program coming out in August called August of Arms, which I hope you check out because it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I know last year was a lot of fun, but I didn't have a program set up beforehand. I was just going down and doing whatever came to my mind and did some form of arm training for 31 days. So this year I'm doing it again, but I've done what I should have done in the first place and written a program, and I'm going to be sharing that with people. So you want to stay tuned. I hope this has been an interesting story and I didn't bore your brains out of your head, but I invite you to like the video and subscribe to stay updated. I always put out new videos all the time here on the channel. I enjoy doing it. I put a lot of stuff up on training, and I love sharing my passion. If you have any questions, please leave a comment on the video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. All the best in your training. Take care.